A day at the pool turns deadly, a mass shooting just a block from the UTC Mall. A gunman opens fire, shooting 8 people at a University City apartment complex.
There were 2 people that had already been shot. They were laying on the ground. One was trying to crawl towards the other one to help.
The police helicopter overhead minutes after shots were fired.
Our helicopter saw that the suspect was still in the pool area and was armed and appeared to be reloading.
Police say minutes later, the shooter pointed the gun at officers. Officers then opened fire, killing that suspect.
Live from San Diego, this is the Fox 5 News at 10.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Maria Arcega-Dunn. We begin with breaking news tonight out of University City, where at least 8 people were shot by a gunman at an apartment complex pool. Fox 5 has this entire story covered for you from every angle. We have reporters at the hospital where some of the victims were taken. But let's start first with our Robert Burns, who's at the scene where all of this unfolded. Robert?
Okay, Maria, at this point, the mayor and homicide detectives are in a briefing at this point, which does not bode well, that information, for some of the victims of this shooting. But a very difficult afternoon out here earlier, as witnesses say this man opened fire in this busy pool area, with some people literally jumping the fence, dodging bullets, trying to save their lives.
We could see the shooter sitting there with a beer in one hand and the gun in the other.
Thoughts and prayers and our hearts go out to all the victims, their families, and to anyone that witnessed this tragic event.
8 people were shot when a gunman opened fire at the pool of a University City apartment complex. San Diego police fatally shooting the suspect after he pointed the gun at them.
Literally saw the people going out from the pool, jumping out. Like we saw running like crazy, so we just decided to run away.
It sounded like somebody was getting into a fight, and then she heard screaming somebody had been shot, and then we heard 2 more shots.
It happened shortly after 6 Sunday night at the La Jolla Crossroads complex off Judicial Drive. Police say the man, dressed in brown shorts and holding a gun, began shooting at people in the pool. One witness telling Fox 5 he saw 3 of the victims bleeding on the sidewalk.
And our helicopter saw that the suspect was still in the pool area and was armed and appeared to be reloading.
He was sitting relaxed in one of the pool chairs with a beer in one hand and a gun in the other.
The suspect pointed the gun at our officers, and 3 of our officers fired on the suspect.
The suspect died on scene. It's unclear the motive behind this attack. The 8 victims, each suffering gunshot wounds, rushed to area hospitals.
There were 2 people that had already been shot. They were laying on the ground. One was trying to crawl towards the other one to help.
People really literally jumping out from the fences like crazy.
As you can imagine, a lot of worried people out here, especially the ones that live in this apartment complex. Again, that number, 8 people injured from gunshot wounds, a number more that were injured with broken arms, broken bones, just trying to escape this pool area. Again, there is expected to be another news conference with the mayor and the police chief and maybe homicide detectives as well. We're hearing in about the next 15 to 30 minutes. When that happens, we will bring it to you live, not only here on Fox 5, but also online on our Facebook feed as well. That's it for us live here. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Robert Burns on top of all the details for us. Thank you so much. Well, that shooting happened here in University City between the 5 and the 805, just a block east of the UTC Mall and just less than 3 miles away from the UC San Diego campus. And of course, our coverage continues now outside Scripps Memorial Hospital, which is about 2 miles from where that shooting happened. Our Fox 5's Felicia Martinez joins us now with what she's learned about some of the victims. Felicia?
Well, Maria, as you heard from Robert, we've learned tonight, 8 victims shot tonight, several others injured just running from the scene. Some of those victims who were shot were taken here to Scripps Memorial Hospital. We were told by the public information officer that the families of those victims very shaken tonight and are focusing on the victims themselves, the families, and are not talking to the media. Again, police confirmed a total of 8 people were injured after being shot at the La Jolla Crossroads Apartments near UTC Mall. Now, according to Chief Shelley Zimmerman, several of those people were in critical condition and taken to various hospitals. Again, we've been told Scripps Memorial here in University City is treating some of those victims who were shot. And coming back out here live, a lot of questions still remain. Who this suspect is, his motive. And as that information does become available, we'll continue to update you. But for now, our thoughts are with the victims' families and the victims, not only here at Scripps Memorial in La Jolla, but at the surrounding hospitals as well. From now, we're live at Scripps Memorial. Felicia Martinez, Fox 5 News.
All right, Felicia, thank you. And as she mentioned, the shooting victims are at 2 different hospitals. We're also outside Scripps Mercy Hospital in Hillcrest. We continue our team coverage now with Fox 5's Jason Sloss. Jason.
And Maria, from what we understand right now, 2 victims are here at Scripps Mercy. About an hour and a half ago, we saw a car pull up. A young man jumped out, visibly distraught, very emotional, ran straight away into the emergency room area. He was with 2 young women. One of them told me that that man's father is one of the shooting victims. From what they understood at that point, he was in critical condition. They went inside, and then about an hour later, another man came by. He said, my brother is one of those who's been shot. He went inside. He did not have any information. He was just finding out about that. There is a heavy police presence here. We've seen patrol cars come and go, and from what we've been told, officers are with the victims and their families, as is standard procedure in a case like this, and that is about the extent of what we know here tonight at Scripps Mercy. Live in Hillcrest, back to you.
Jason Sloss, thank you for the update. If you're just joining us right now, we're on top of breaking news. A mass shooting at an apartment complex in University City. 8 people shot, some of them in critical condition. The gunman is dead. To give us some insight on this developing situation is Kevin LaChapelle, a criminal justice professor. Kevin, let's get right to it. Thank you so much. In a mass shooting situation like this, especially in the minutes just after officers respond, there are a lot of moving parts. Police helicopters spotted the suspect at the pool. That's how police on the ground were actually able to locate him. Now, walk us through what officers are doing when they're mobilizing around a situation like this. It's very tentative, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to understand people are running, trying to get away, and the officers are having to run in, knowing that there's danger right there. And they also know that any shots that will continue, there's a propensity for all of those people in the apartments to be victims.
Now, of course, what are they looking for? Obviously, they don't know much about the situation. The shooter is dead at this point. He shot at police. They fired back and killed him. The complex was in lockdown still. What are officers doing at this point? Give us some of the details. Are they searching for additional threats? You mentioned that they may be looking for additional victims that may be unseen. Talk to us about that.
Well, they're going to just be gathering evidence for their case. And just the record, I do not have experience in homicide investigations, but all investigations are typical. And basically, they're going to be interviewing everyone to find out exactly what happened, find out what went on prior to this event. Did anyone know what was going on? So they're going to do a very thorough investigation. And then again, obviously also looking for anyone bullets go through walls. So you always have to check all of the apartments in that area to make sure that nobody else was injured.
And you're also considering your own safety as well as an officer. What goes through your mind when you're approaching a situation like this? You don't know if there's more than one threat when you're just showing up. You don't know if there are more than one victim. You don't know the area that you're entering. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, the one thing they do know is they have the helicopter above broadcasting information to them, knowing that there is clear danger right now with an active shooter. So that's very dangerous, the most dangerous thing they can involve themselves in. And so they're trying to get in there, and they also want to go home at night to their families.
What about, you mentioned the helicopter actually watching the situation, but now in this day and age, we've got cell phone video everywhere. What about witnesses who are streaming this situation online? How has social media and cell phone video changed how you do your job in these types of fluid situations? I know that for us, as media people, we know obviously not to report your location, but a lot of people who are just shooting video at the scene are not taking that into consideration. Talk to us about how that is affecting your jobs now.
Well, it really is affecting officers for their safety, because you have to understand people are, if they're videotaping, they may be showing officers positions where they're trying to have cover and concealment so that they can protect themselves. So if people are broadcasting that and you don't know who else is watching it, if there's any suspects are watching it. But on the other hand, you also know that social media is what it is, and those things are happening. So you also have to just evolve and continue to address your tactics and change them with all of these new type of technologies.
Obviously a fluid situation at this point. We still don't know who the shooter is and all the details as to why that shooter did what he did. Kevin LaChapelle, of course, we'll find out more details coming up in the show. Thank you so much for your insight tonight.
Thank you.
And of course, stay with Fox 5 for continuing coverage of this mass shooting. We'll send out the latest updates as they come in on our Fox 5 app. And of course, stay with us as we'll have another live report from that scene at 10:30.